Today's highway work zone is overflowing with activity and crowded with working devices, vehicles, equipment, construction supplies, and other project materials. Because of the volume of work and the many different activities taking place, the safety hazards in the work zone are greater than ever. This video will outline a variety of hazards in a typical highway construction site. We'll discuss hazards that can affect the workers on the job site as well as visitors. After reviewing this video, we encourage each of you to take the time to discuss the hazards in the work zones you currently work in and develop an action plan to reduce and eliminate hazards. Our goal is for every worker and every visitor to go home safely at the end of each day. No matter how many times you enter a construction zone, it is important to approach each project site with the utmost care, precaution, and preparation. Many on-the-job injuries are a direct result of a lack of awareness, little or no initial planning, and inadequate training. Your first line of defense in preventing injuries and fatalities in a construction site is detecting hazards and taking action to eliminate those hazards. Safety awareness is a key factor in reducing the risks for injuries due to hazards in a construction site. In this video, we'll look at 8 of the most common hazards typically present in a highway construction work zone. Entering and exiting. Parking. Equipment. Traffic. Fall exposure. PPE. Personal protective equipment, excavation, and health. Entering a work zone can be very challenging. Whenever possible, contact the foreman on the job site ahead of time to get job-specific work zone entry procedures. Look out for each other and remind visitors and on-site employees to follow safe work practices at all times. The reality of the work zone is that everyone is one step from death. This may sound extreme, but the potential for injury or a fatality is greater than you think. Warning signs are designed to direct traffic in a safe manner around a job site. The traveling public will likely copy someone who appears to ignore warning signs. Always observe the warning signs and/or flagger personnel when approaching the work zone. Slow down when approaching the entrance to the work zone. Use your turn signal and activate your strobe light beacon if you have one. Make it clear to the traveling public that you are part of the job site. If it appears that someone is following you into the work zone that shouldn't be, try to signal them away or stop them and direct them out of the work zone. Before exiting the work zone, observe other vehicles to determine the proper location and merging speed, or check with the job foreman or supervisor. Trying to cross a road or highway in a work zone leaves you unprotected. Traveling motorists are already confused by the activity in traffic control. The last thing they need is an unexpected vehicle or employee crossing in front of them. Bottom line, follow instructions and focus on safety when entering or exiting work zones. When entering a job site, make sure you have clear instructions from your supervisor on where to park, or make contact with the on-site supervisor or field office to find out where parking is recommended. Parking procedures should be planned to eliminate parking behind another vehicle. Consider parking adjacent to or beside your coworkers. Personal vehicles should be kept to a minimum. Company and state vehicles should have designated parking areas that limit or eliminate the need for backing. This will help eliminate the #1 cause of vehicle incidents within work zones, backing. Sometimes the best parking place is not the closest. If you must back out, walk around behind your vehicle to see obstacles or hazards you may encounter. Remember, new employees, delivery personnel, material suppliers, and visitors may not be familiar with the parking at the job site. Park your vehicle as far as practical from the roadway. Never park on the shoulder or next to a travel lane. A distracted motorist may not see your vehicle till it's too late. When parking, make sure your vehicle does not obstruct the view of any traffic signs or signals. Look for alternate parking areas away from barrels and barricades where vehicles can be clearly seen. Don't park near heavy equipment or in a blind spot. Scout the area as you drive by and see if your parking spot interferes with other vehicle movement. When possible, have all parking areas on the outbound side of the work zone. If a motorist inadvertently does follow someone into the parking area on a job site, they can exit easily. This prevents unwanted traffic from creating further congestion. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is essential for the personal safety and health of any employee or visitor to a highway construction job site. Employees must wear or use the required items while in the area. Wearing a hard hat and a vest is mandatory throughout the project at all times. In addition, steel-toe work boots are to be worn at all times and are defined as heavy-duty leather boots having a minimum height of 6 inches to support and protect the ankle. Safety glasses, goggles, safety shields, or hoods must be worn at all times when using any air tools, electric grinders, or wire brushes. You should also use them when sandblasting or when you are in the vicinity of hazardous work, such as dry cement, lime-stabilized base, placing concrete, or during any work where there is the possibility of sustaining injury to the eyes. Additional personal protective equipment such as gloves, respirators, protective clothing, and hearing protection may be needed depending on the hazard. Make sure you check with your supervisor or foreman if you have any questions regarding the need for the appropriate personal protective equipment for the job. PPE can save your life. Don't work without it. Driving, walking, or standing near highway construction equipment poses certain risks and dangers. Equipment operators are trained to exercise caution and practice safety. Still, concentration on the task at hand, combined with noise and limited visibility, contributes to the safety risks of others in close proximity to operating equipment. Working around heavy equipment is potentially hazardous for the following reasons: the possibility of objects falling from overhead equipment, the movement of equipment with a swing radius, the inherent danger of backing on a job site, and the possibility of thrown debris. These examples are only a few of the potential hazards associated with construction equipment. Remember to be alert and aware of your surroundings at all times. Today's drivers have more distractions than ever. Cell phones, portable music players, DVDs, and navigation systems divert attention away from safe driving and work zone construction. Public drivers passing through our work zones may be driving too fast, distracted by children, eating, or may be impaired by alcohol and drugs. Fatigued drivers may be inattentive or sleepy. Older drivers may have reduced vision and reaction time. Younger drivers may be inexperienced and react unpredictably when they encounter a work zone. But the traveling public aren't the only ones we need to keep an eye on. In addition to moving heavy equipment, trucks and pickups traveling around the work site are a significant hazard. To work safely in a work zone where traffic is present, remember to stay out of the areas of high construction traffic when possible. Backing vehicles are especially hazardous. All vehicles have blind spots when backing. Trucks and equipment have large blind spots. If possible, stay out of the safety circle, 10 to 15 feet around the equipment. Try to make eye contact with the operator or driver to make sure he or she knows you're there. Backup or travel alarms must be in working order on equipment. Pay attention to backup alarms. Don't allow yourself to tune out on the job. Losing your situational awareness because of distraction or fatigue could cost you your life. Fatigued workers may make poor decisions and take shortcuts. Never focus so intently on a task that you lose the awareness of your surroundings. Know the hazards that traffic presents and protect yourself. Falls are the leading cause of fatalities in the construction industry. Our challenge is to inform visitors and employees to be able to recognize, evaluate, and control the hazard. Typical fall hazards in highway construction include, but are not limited to the following: bridge work, precast concrete erection, elevated work platforms, overhead sign work, bucket lifts, trenches, wall openings, floor openings. Controlling these hazards requires pre-planning of the job to implement control measures for any fall potential of 6 feet or more. Industry standard fall systems include guardrail systems and personal fall arrest systems. Guardrails should have a toe board, mid-rail, and top rail, with the top rail being 39 to 45 inches high and able to withstand 200 pounds. A full body harness and lanyard must be worn by all employees who are working at heights 6 feet or greater when the work area is absent of all fall protection. Employees must be trained how to put on, adjust, and properly use a full body harness. Anchorage points for tie-off must be a secure point of attachment for horizontal or vertical lifelines and lanyards capable of supporting 5,000 pounds per person. If you wonder if a specific job will require a harness, ask yourself the following questions. Can I fall over it? Can I fall under it? Can I fall from it? Can I fall through it? Can I fall between it? Can I fall into it? Take charge of your safety by making sure fall protection safety measures are in place and being used correctly. Excavations are among the most hazardous construction operations and present serious hazards to all workers involved. Cave-ins pose the greatest risk and are more likely to result in worker fatalities. You should consider all of the factors present on the site that may increase the hazard of a cave-in, such as no sloping, shoring, or shielding, the proximity to vehicles and heavy equipment, rain or water accumulation, and excessive vibration from a well-traveled highway, nearby railroad, heavy equipment, and/or construction operations. In addition to cave-ins and related hazards, you may also be exposed to hazards involving falls, falling loads, mobile equipment, and egress associated with excavation work. Excavations should be clearly marked around sections where there is a potential for workers or others on the job site to fall into the excavation. Keep materials or equipment that might fall or roll into an excavation at least 2 feet or more from the edge, and do not perform work on faces of sloped or benched excavations at levels above other workers. Provide those workers at the lower levels adequate protection from the hazard of falling, rolling, or sliding material or equipment. Consider the equipment that is or may be in use in the vicinity of the excavation. No one should be underneath loads handled by lifting or digging equipment. Be aware of your surroundings and remain clear of equipment. You should ensure that a ladder or ramp or other means of safe egress is provided in excavations of 4 feet or more in depth and located within 25 feet of all workers. Your health is your most valuable possession. Protect it by becoming familiar with health hazards commonly found on highway construction job sites and limiting your exposure. Airborne exposure to chemicals, dusts, vapors, and fumes is a hazard present at most job sites. Normal highway construction operations make such exposure routine, but you can reduce your risk of injury by using your personal protective equipment properly. Another hazard is surprise encounters with unhappy critters. Displaced varmints or insects have a tendency to attack even the nicest people. Stay aware of your surroundings and don't forget the insect repellent. Also, don't try to rescue or assist a sick or wounded wild animal of any kind while on site, and leave in a hurry if any creature makes an attempt to bite or sting. Your life can be altered in an instant if you are unknowingly allergic. Plants and vegetation also can have a negative effect on your health. Stay away from any foreign vegetation, and remember that burning brush piles that contain poisonous vines or ivy can transmit their sap in the smoke. Hazardous substances may exist on a project that can affect a person's health. Exposure to these substances can affect a person in two ways: acutely, where a worker feels an immediate impact to his body, such as with hives, sneezing, or watering eyes. In a delayed reaction, a worker may not see symptoms for months or years, depending on the substance and the amount of exposure. Substances that can pose a hazard to a person's health includes chemicals such as paints, additives, solvents, and fuels, silica found in concrete dust, and though not a substance, high noise levels can affect a person's hearing. Being able to identify what the hazards are around you will go a long way in helping you avoid exposure to these substances. A chemical materials safety data sheet, also known as the MSDS, is a good source for information on chemicals that may be hazardous to your health. Be informed and make yourself aware of these hidden dangers to your health. As you have seen, hazards are a reality of our daily life on the worksite. Our goal is to be aware of the potential challenges and prevent the unnecessary injury or death that can occur as a result of these exposures. There are no shortcuts to success or safety. It is a priority and is everyone's responsibility. Be alert, be aware, be alive.